Hello, everybody. Anybody? Nobody? I'm known online as the R2view, but you can just call me Tyler, or you can just call me. I mean, I won't answer because I have a crippling fear of human interaction, but you can still try. It's actually the subject of the next few videos this month. Not me calling or calling me or anything like that. No, fear. Fear is the subject for the month of October. Assuming I get these done on a timely manner and they actually come out in October. Here's hoping. But yeah. See, I'm something of a huge coward, which my family knows and exploits to their best ability. And yet, despite that, I found myself playing through pretty much the entire Resident Evil series this year. So since I played through them all and streamed most of them, plug, I decided, you know what, I should put together a few videos this October discussing my thoughts about them. Just the main series this year, though. Sorry, fans of Gun Survivor 2, Biohazard, Code Veronica. Both of you will have to go to a different video series to hear about that game. And yeah, this video series is going to be about my own kind of personal thoughts and opinions, not an overarching view of the entire franchise. If you want something like that, there's plenty of great options out there. Might I suggest Avalanche Review's excellent retrospective or the Sphere Hunters in-depth series overview? Anyways, these are just the thoughts of a newcomer playing for the first time this year. So, let's get into some backstory. In 1989, Capcom released Sweet Home, a Japanese exclusive movie tie-in game. As you can see from the footage, this game shares a lot of similarities to Resident Evil, and in fact, Resident Evil did start as an attempt to remake this game. So maybe I should start with this game, right? Yeah, here's the thing. This game sucks. I'm sorry, I tried. I found a translated copy, and I honestly gave it a try, but holy crap, I just don't like it. It was super hard to control anything. The combat sucked. It was way too hard. And honestly, it's just not fun. So, you know what? I didn't finish it. Whatever. It isn't important anyways. The important thing is that it served as inspiration to the game that came out in 1996. Wait, sorry, that's what it was called in Japan. Over here they called it... Resident Evil was released in 1996 for the PlayStation 1. It later got ported to the Saturn, PC, Nintendo DS, and almost the Game Boy Color. We don't talk about the Game Boy Color version. Also on the PlayStation, it got a Director's Cut re-release and a Greatest Hits version, both of which added extra content. And the Greatest Hits version, the one I got right here, also has an absolutely amazing soundtrack. This is the music I want playing when I make love. Anyways, enough intro stuff. Let's talk about the game itself. The story is pretty basic, honestly. In the summer of 1998, a series of mysterious cannibalistic murders have been happening outside Raccoon City. The Special Tactics and Rescue Squad, a special division of the Raccoon City Police Department, send their Bravo team to investigate. However, Bravo team goes missing and the Alpha team is sent in to find their comrades. After being attacked by zombie dogs and being left to die by the world's worst helicopter pilot, Alpha team seek refuge in a nearby deserted mansion. However, it isn't quite as deserted as they think. So the game itself starts and you play as Jill.
What about Chris?
What about Chris? Okay, fine, you do technically have two options when it comes to playable characters. Jill Valentine or Chris Redfield. But frankly, Chris kinda sucks. He has less inventory space, doesn't have a lockpick, and has one less weapon to find. The worst of all, he doesn't have a Barry. Yeah, Rebecca is nice, but nothing can beat Barry. Oh yeah, Barry and Rebecca. If you play as Chris, you will meet up with Rebecca Chambers, the young medic from Bravo team. She isn't really useful, sadly. She can heal you up sometimes, but not often enough to make it worth it. As a character, I do like Rebecca, but more so in products that come later. In the first game, she's just kinda there. Now, Barry Burton, on the other hand, is my favorite Resident Evil character. This guy is awesome. He teams up with Jill more often than Rebecca does with Chris, and even saves Jill a couple times. And his dialogue is the greatest.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
How can you not like this guy? So, yeah, I almost always chose Jill. It doesn't matter anyway, since somehow both and neither campaigns are canon at the same time. See, whoever you pick will basically do the same thing. Explore the mansion and its nearby guardhouse, descend through some underground caves where Enrico tells you one of your teammates is a traitor, find a hidden laboratory belonging to the pharmaceutical company Umbrella, and have a showdown with Albert Wesker, the STARS captain, who is revealed to be the traitor. As you escape the lab, you rescue either Chris or Jill, depending who you're playing as, and that's basically the story. Survive the mansion, save your teammate, and find out what's going on. When I first played a Resident Evil game, I was surprised to discover that it basically plays like an adventure game. You walk around, pick things up, and solve puzzles like you do in King's Quest or Monkey Island. But you have an incredibly limited inventory, and you need to worry about defending yourself against the zombies and other T-virus-infected monsters. Even saving is a limited action, so resource management is a must. This, combined with the camera system and tank controls, makes a game that is rather challenging at times, but super fun. The game's short length also makes the game more fun, as you want to try and reduce your playtime to increase your score and find the secret endings you can unlock by not saving certain people. The game is a lot of spooky fun. But yeah, while it has a spooky atmosphere, I don't find Resident Evil 1 too scary. This isn't the game I started with, and in fact I played the remake before the original game, but even with that, I don't think most people will find it too scary. And a big reason why is the aged graphics and super cheesy dialogue.
Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
I love it for both of these reasons, don't get me wrong, but it can definitely hinder the scary atmosphere you might be trying to set. You know, that and the amazing greatest hits music. So overall, I think Resident Evil 1 is a great game. Unlocking extra costumes, infinite ammo, all that. It's just a lot of fun, great game to play. I recommend it to anyone. Now, as for which version of the game is best, I'll be honest, I think the DS port is the best. Given the subtitle of Deadly Silence, the entire game is on this cart with most of the extras, a lot of quality of life improvements, and even a new mode with touchscreen puzzles. This is definitely my preferred method of playing the game, and it's the version I think is easiest for newcomers to get into. But honestly, any of the ports are good, and each have some bonus or extra that might entice you. Except the Game Boy Color port. Okay, fine, I'll talk about it. It's really just notable for the technical achievement. They put the entirety of Resident Evil 1 on the Game Boy Color. That's amazing. It really is. But it absolutely sucks to play, and it's no surprise it got shelved before releasing. There, I talked about a Game Boy Color port. Can we please move on now? Resident Evil 1 was a huge success for Capcom, and they wanted to make a sequel immediately. So they got to work on one with a release date of 1997. Yeah, the game didn't come out until 98. See, originally the game was a bit different. The basic setup was the same as the final game, but the look, feel, and some characters were totally different. This version of the game, called Resident Evil 1.5 by fans, was almost complete when Capcom decided that it kinda sucked. And yeah, it honestly kinda did. Sorry, Elza Walker, you had a cool design, but just couldn't make the cut for... Resident Evil 2 was finally released in 1998 for the PlayStation 1, and later got ports for the Dreamcast, N64, GameCube, PC, and the greatest console ever, the Gamecom. Though everyone's favorite way to play the game is clearly the official board game. Okay, so, the scenario in the rule book. I believe we gotta roll the blue dice and to attack, or just the red to attack. Yeah, no, red is attack. The blue. Wait, how many numbers do you have on the? You're just not clear over. Why'd you not clear over? Wait. I think we got this backwards. We might have to start all over again from this stuff. Where are you going? Okay, let's talk about the actual game itself, shall we? This story is also fairly simple in setup, though it does get a bit more complex. A few months after the events of the first game, Raccoon City itself is suddenly overrun with zombies. Claire Redfield, the younger sister of Chris, coming in to check on him, and Leon S. Kennedy, a rookie cop coming into town for his first day, arrive in the city and meet up, only to discover that the town is overrun with the undead. They're separated, but plan to meet up at the police station, and that's where the game begins. I don't want to spoil too much, since this is definitely a story best experience for yourself, but Claire and Leon encounter more survivors, uncover more mysteries about Umbrella and the T-Virus, and occasionally deal with the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah!
Just trust me on this one, it's one of my favorite zombie survival stories. Gameplay-wise, Resident Evil 2 plays a lot like the first game, just better in every conceivable way. There's now a legit reason to play both characters, and to replay the game in reverse order. There's tons of things to unlock, including the awesome 4th Survivor and Tofu Survivor modes. Some releases also include an EX Battle mode where you can even play as Chris Redfield. The bosses are better, the game design is better, the story is better, the writing is better, the voice acting is way better, the music is breathtaking, and all in all, Resident Evil 2 is just an amazing game. I could go on and on, but honestly, you should just play it for yourself. It's fairly easy to find, and you don't need to know anything about the first game to get the story. It's really a great way to jump into the series. But what version should you get? Obviously the board game. Alright, believe it, it's your turn.
This is absolute trash.
No, but seriously, pretty much any version that isn't the GameCube version is an excellent choice. The GameCube version lets you skip cutscenes, which is helpful. The Dreamcast version displays all of your statuses on the VMU, which is really cool. But honestly, my preferred version is the N64 version. Yeah, it is technically inferior, but they fit 2 PS1 discs onto an N64 cart. That is amazing. And my N64 obsessed self just loves playing it. I get a little awed every time I play. But if you don't have an N64 bias like I do, yeah, probably Dreamcast or GameCube. Or PS1 if you don't want to spend an arm and a leg. Seriously, you can download it on PS3 for like $8. It's totally worth it. Resident Evil 2 was a huge success, and Capcom decided immediately to make a sequel. Or 5. Yeah, they put a lot of games into development at once, but I'm not getting into all those right now. So, needless to say, eventually they chose one of them to be the numbered sequel, and we got...
Resident Evil.
In 1999, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, subtitled Last Escape in Japan, was released for the PlayStation 1. Ports followed for the Dreamcast, PC, GameCube, and... actually that's it. Yeah, 3 never really got many ports. That also means there's no way to play this on any mobile device, unless you count the PS1 Classic version you can download on the PSP or Vita. But enough about that, let's talk about the game. The game actually starts like a day before Resident Evil 2, and you play as Jill Valentine once again. And yes, this time there is actually only one choice of character. Anyways, Jill is caught in Raccoon City as the outbreak starts, and her goal is simply to get the heck out of the city. Yeah, that's really it. You meet up with some other survivors and some enemies and such, and get sidetracked for multiple reasons, but the actual story of the game is basically just Jill escaping the city before it's destroyed by a nuke. Honestly, I kind of like how overly simple it is. I usually like the bigger and more complex stories, but I'm writing a script right now, and the less work for me the better. Anyways, the game plays the same as before, except I have both a quick turn and a dodge mechanic, both of which will be very helpful as you dodge hordes of zombies on the streets. And yeah, hordes. There is a lot of zombies. It can be overwhelming and kind of annoying at first, but when you get more used to the game and learn to time hitting explosive barrels, it's pretty manageable overall. Less manageable is the titular nemesis. So remember Mr. X? You know, that part of Resident Evil 2 I barely mentioned and purposely didn't explain specifically to see who would jump to the comments to explain before finishing the video? Yeah, Nemesis is basically him on steroids. He can show up anytime, chase you through low doors, can't be killed, can use weapons, and has only one mission: kill Jill Valentine. This dude is a pain and can be kind of terrifying as he suddenly starts chasing you through the streets. But yeah, just the streets. After the opening city section, Nemesis basically disappears except for boss fights. Yeah, there is a small section of the clock tower that he can chase you through, and he will show up for the story events, but his constant hunting of you is really just at the start. And I am really grateful for that because it means he doesn't overstay his welcome. Later in the game, Jill gets infected, and Carlos, a soldier Umbrella sent in to presumably help people out of the city, has to find a cure for her. You get to play as Carlos for a bit, which is pretty cool, but honestly, Carlos overall was just kind of meh. Not bad, but I didn't care much about him. And honestly, I kind of feel the same about the game itself. It's not bad, and I do like a lot of the set pieces and stuff, but there's just not enough here for me to come back to. They try to increase replayability by including choices at certain points that can, in theory, alter the game. And to be fair, it does change some things, but most of it is kind of pointless. Like which way this guy dies, or when you meet up with Nikolai, the game's villain. It doesn't do much for me, apart from the ending where Barry comes in to save the day. Honestly, even the Mercenaries mode that I hear so many people talk about, yeah, I'm sorry, I just didn't care much for it. 3 characters I don't care much about running through the city on a timer and getting scored for playing the game the opposite way the game tells you to play normally. Sorry, I just don't care. Nemesis isn't a bad game at all, it's just not one I particularly cared for. If you want to try it for yourself though, I would suggest downloading it on PS3. It's going to be the cheapest and simplest option. And honestly, you might get more out of it than I do, because again, it's not a bad game, just not one of my favorites. And so, that's the original PS1 trilogy. If you're interested in trying any of these, I would definitely suggest 2. If you can find it at a good price, of course. 1 and 3 are also great games, but I think your best bet is to try 2 first and then maybe go on to the other 2 games. Now, some of you are probably upset that I didn't include any of the remakes. Well, don't worry. This is just the first video. I will definitely do one on the remakes, don't you worry. The next video, we're going to move away from the PlayStation and onto the next generation of consoles. Can Capcom keep the series relevant in the age of the GameCube? Oh yeah! The live-action movies. Maybe I should include them in a video.
My name is Alice.
Where are you going?
Find Paul W.S. Anderson and make him pay! Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just at work here. I snuck out here. Don't tell my boss. Oh wait, he watches these videos. Hi Ben. Anyways, I just wanted to say thanks for watching the video. I just want to make this little video for the end of the video. I don't know how that works. Anyways, I'm still new to this. Hopefully you like the second video. More Resident Evil goodness coming. Hopefully next week. I'm assuming I'm actually doing this before I finish the actual editing. This is Thursday. I'm hoping I get this done tonight so I can upload it tomorrow. If it's not, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get these done weekly. Things are better. Still need to fix a little bit. I'm buying some lights tomorrow and everything. My plan is. So hopefully things will go better and I will be able to record the next video on Saturday. I don't know. Thanks to everybody. All my Twitter followers. Everybody's giving me great feedback, such as, really? This is supposed to be funny? And why are you even trying?
I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good. Remember, be excellent to each other.